You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And I'm Evan Closky.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We have Mr. Closky back on. The people love it. The people call for it, and they get it. Right ahead of the NFL draft, the NHL playoffs going on, the NBA playoffs going on. I'm sure there's some transfer portal crap going on as well.
Yeah,
I've given of a baseball season. The issue, though, Evan, is the Rays don't look too hot the first couple of weeks of the season in. What gives with the Rays? What gives with Randy Arozarena? What gives with Yandy Diaz? Is this team going to make the playoffs?
I mean, as of right now, it's tough to say. Look, it's a long season. You know, and then the finale against Detroit, Randy hit a home run, which is great to see. Yandy had an RBI single. He also had, a line out to right center field where he lifted the ball, which is encouraging. So, I mean, these are two guys who are not going to be this bad, right? Randy goes through a couple of really ugly slumps per season, and if this happens in July, we're more understanding of it than what happens now. I would say that probably what's happening with Yandy is way more uncharacteristic. The fact that his timing is so off. I mean, this is a guy that rarely slumps. I mean, he's like a 300 hitter for the most part. So, I think we all have to remember maybe the home runs we got spoiled with last year. That's not who he ever was. He obliterated his career high in homers. He used to be a guy that maybe hit 10. So just remember that he's not a guy who's going to pop that many homers, but he'll have a string here where he'll put together a couple of hits in like back-to-back games or something and get on a little bit of a heater. You're just right now in a spot where, if the hitting does enough, the bullpen doesn't show up. If the bullpen shows up, the hitting goes ice cold, the starting pitching's been great for 6 days, and all of a sudden, you score 4, 5, 6 runs, and then that's the day where the starting pitching blows up. So they're just not in sync. It's nothing that I think should be too surprising for fans. As I said, you need to be 500 entering May. I've always said that, and I stand by it. You got to be 500 entering May. And what you hope is a trip to Chicago to play the White Sox and play them 6 times in the next couple of weeks. You better win 5 of those. You better win 5 of 6 from the White Sox, because with how bad they are and with how hurt you are, I mean, this is a golden opportunity to munch wins in a period of time where you're a little bit depleted. So everyone's going to get around the horn and beat the pulp out of the White Sox, but you better take care of your business, because more than any other year, you cannot subscribe to picking up wins somewhere else down the road. You need this. And hopefully it's a good time to play a really, really bad team.
Yeah, they've only won 3 games as of this recording, so you definitely have to take advantage of that. When we came into this season, we said, this is probably one of the best bullpens the Rays have ever assembled in franchise history. And we now know that, hey, they are probably the worst bullpen right now, performance-wise in MLB. Randy and Yandy, Randy steady Eddie. Yandy just came off from his career year. What has been most surprising to you? The fact that this bullpen is not what we thought it was in the beginning for this first almost 30 games, or the fact that Randy and Yandy at the same time are just hitting historically low offensive production numbers?
It's the bullpen easily. Everyone, I posted on X just kind of saying that my disappointment in the bullpen is far greater than whatever you can say about Yandy or Randy. That is. I mean, you expect some slumps with hitters. Those things happen, and we certainly expect more out of those two guys. But you have to understand that the Rays built this team entering the year knowing that their hitting was not going to be wowing you, right? They cannot replace a generational talent in Wander Franco. And while Jose Caballero has been awesome and has done an unbelievable job, he doesn't provide the ceiling that Wander Franco does. Simply, I mean, with doubles, with extra base hits, doubles and homers, and getting on base all the time. It's just a completely, generational talent that's gone. So, in doing so, they wanted to solidify the back end of their bullpen and say, hey, we know we're going to score 3, 4, 5 runs a night. We're going to lock it down when we get a lead. And so when at least you've blown four fairly easy wins, right? Fairbanks blew 2 himself. Yep. Maton blew up against the Angels. And then Poche blew up against the Tigers. That's 4 easy dubs. And I understand you're not going to win every game. The bullpen is not going to shut down every game. But at this point, if you multiply that over the full course of the season, that's about 26, 27 games that the bullpen would be blowing. That's an exorbitant amount. I mean, that's the difference between winning your division and maybe being a top 10 draft pick, right? I mean, that's kind of the gap. Now, last year around this time, the bullpen wasn't great either. It wasn't this bad, but it wasn't great either. I think there are some question marks with some guys. I also think some of it's a little bit of disjointed nature, right? Like, Maton had a bad game in a bad spot. Poche, who had 6 scoreless outings before blowing up, had it in a bad spot. It's just they're not, it'd be nice if they all sucked at once. But outside of maybe Davinsky, it's been scattered blow-up outings. And I guess Davinsky and Fairbanks, who's injured right now. It's been, everyone else has kind of been like, hey, doing well. Oop. Completely blew it up. Right? It's not even like giving up a run. It's just completely going to wipe you out. And I think that maybe my one critique would be, and I understand why he does it, but I think Kevin Cash has been way too loyal to his guys, and it's burned them. I don't think, with the amount of hitting that the Rays have done in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning this year, Kevin Cash has let way too many games get out of hand. Aaron Savali blew up when he was off the wagon. It clearly looked like it. And I think that I respect that he worries, about the big picture and focusing in on his arms and getting them there. But you also have to worry sometimes about letting a game get too far out of hand.
Yes. And
so I think he has to not all the way, but I think he has to maybe go one tick up on the give a crap meter on the game by game. So that's not to say that he has to do it every game. Sometimes he works the probabilities, and I agree with that. But I do think that sometimes he also gets stubborn. And, he left Maton in too long. He left again, Savali, there's been multiple examples of him just riding guys until this game is blown up. And then you realize like, oh, the Rays scored they lost by 1, they lost by 2. If you would have kept it close, they might've pulled it out. So
Kevin knows his mom likes flowers. I know my mom likes flowers. So how about you make your mom smile with some flowers? And you can surprise her with some gifts from the brands that she loves. And you can do that by delivering the same day with DoorDash. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mother on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treats, and much, much more to make her day way better. So get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with the code LOCKEDONMLB. Again, that's LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Do that and make your mom happy. It's an odd situation because just again, one example, but you have a guy that's clearly struggling, walk 1, walk 2, walk 3. You still let him to face 2 more batters, and he's over 100 pitches. And then on the other side, you've got a guy that doesn't even touch 80 pitches, is pitching 6 scoreless innings, and he takes him out. It's just like it's really, I understand, well, like you said, like you got to look at the big picture. But there seems to be, like you said, some stubbornness at times that, nope, this is the plan, I follow the plan. This is the plan, I follow the plan. Like there is no sense of, maybe we should go this route because of what we're actually seeing that's happening in current time, in real time.
I mean, I to that stuff, I actually side with Cash a little more. Look, the Rays have an awful, I don't want to say awful, but the Rays are not world beaters with their bats. So probabilities say when you're down, you're not going to come back and win. They've just been doing it recently, right? In late innings, uncharacteristically, but you should have a feel for that this team puts something together late. And that's always been my complaint is you got to have a feel sometimes of what your team is doing in the now and understand that the probabilities over the course of the season, sometimes your job as manager is to weigh the rational with the emotional. And I just don't think there's any emotion in the managerial spot. Sometimes that works to his immense benefit. Sometimes it works to his detriment. So I just think that, as I said, there's got to be a little bit more to the emotional, a little bit. And as far as like the Pepio stuff, look, you don't focus so much on pitches. It's focusing on the, 6-up, going out there for the 7th, and
you're right. It was Pepio, but in my head I was thinking Eflin with the Yanks. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Eflin this year has proven that how many times have we seen this year in the short stint of this year? Eflin is humming. He's humming. Boom, it's gone. It's just. It means it's just over. Like hit, homer. It just I think it was proven. I think Cash has adjusted that I'm not going to let my guys get blown up. The bullpen was supposed to be the lockdown unit. Nailed. And they are. I don't have any reason to believe that Cash should not be putting immense pressure on the bullpen to do their job. And I hate it when people say, "Oh, like they're not going to save everyone," or the hitting needs to provide more. No. We entered the year saying the bullpen was the best part of this team. They need to be the best part of this team. All right. That's ridiculous. The expectations I have for the hitting as a whole is way different than the bullpen. They have to be better. Simply put, they have to be better. And someone in that baton, in that relay race, is screwing it up every time. And they got to take pride in the fact that they are given 1-run leads and they're going to hold it down. So I'm cool with blowing saves here and there. What I'm not cool with are the walks that get you into trouble, which is often what happens in the middle of some of these blow-up innings, is it's all attributed to free passes, which then turn giving up 1 or 2 runs into 3, 4, 5 runs, right? Like, make them beat you. If they beat you, they beat you. I think Zach Eflin said it earlier this year, and I totally agree. I'd rather give up a double than walk a guy, right? I'd rather give up a homer than walk a guy, depending on the situation. It just, I'd rather challenge the hitter than let him go and create like an uncomfortable situation for myself, something that was my fault. I didn't let them earn it. I gave it to them. That, you have to, that's the mentality that has to happen. And I know that's the mentality that they preach, that Snides believes in, that the players know, but execution has not been there. And so that's been the frustrating part.
The Rays need a confidence builder or two, and that's where the White Sox come in. Beat up on them, get a couple dubs, put some runs up, have some scoreless innings, and utilize that going forward. Ulises, is it time for Closky on the clock?
I believe so.
All right. Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock here. Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Closky on the clock.
Okay, I'm cutting that intro short.
Yeah. I think a couple.
Okay.
I think get through that. Get through that like one or two times, and we call it good.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right. First question I have. Ulises and I are going to pitter patter back and forth to you here. You have to bet your life savings, Evan, on the Rays making the playoffs or missing the playoffs in 2024. Where do you put that money right now?
I mean, just judging by what I'm seeing right now, if I had to put my life's money on it, I'm going to say that they're, oh man, I'm so 50-50 on this. I'm so 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna say they make the playoffs. I just look. This is April. They're gonna get healthier. They're getting stronger as the season goes on. What goes up must come down. They're not this bad. And by the way, them being this bad is only one game under 500. Once the bullpen turns into the unit we think they turn into, they're going to be a much more effective team. They're not going to have to score many runs. And they're also going to bolster their lineup with the additions of a guy like Junior Caminero, who will come up at some point. They'll have the cavalry coming. Josh Lowe's going to come. They're going to get better. I'll say they make the playoffs.
All right, in 60 seconds. Good for you.
That was great. My question is, by the way, you have the finger on the button, right?
Yep, I got intern McGee on it right now. Intern awesome. McGee, come on, get over here. Get ready.
You. All right, so, Evan, in 60 seconds, when would the division be out of play, in your opinion?
I mean, long time. Like, it's not like anyone's running away with it. The Rays have an opportunity to play all these teams a good amount of times. I mean, I would say let's get to late June and see where things are. I mean, if you're like 10 or 11 back, I mean, probabilities aren't in your favor. But even think back to last year, I believe like the Mariners were like 10 games out in August, and they wiped away that entire deficit in a month. So, if you're hanging around 5, 6, 7 games into July, you have a shot. You can go on a heater. So it's more so breaking down the team and what they're going to look like. So yeah, I mean, I'm not there until the All-Star break, but you can kind of get vibes of where you're going, and you can certainly lose the season earlier if it gets any worse.
All right.
I love it. That's the 2011 Rays fan in Evan, just like me. Very good. Very good. I love it.
We just need another Evan Longoria back on the team to
That's right.
get through that. Okay. I'm going to have a little fun questions here. Take the pressure off Closky. In your time covering this team, who or which Rays player has been the best or most interesting to interview?
The best or most interesting to interview would be Brett Phillips. And that's not even, I guess it's not even close. Just a really happy guy. Everything that you would see on the field is kind of the guy that he is behind the scenes as well. Genuinely a good dude. Would do ridiculous things. He was just positive vibes. Like he always gave you great sound bites too. Nothing like nothing too crazy. It's just like he was reliable and really was able to kind of be friends with everybody. So I think that he was I don't know if like interesting is the right word, but maybe the most enjoyable.
Awesome.
Right, with time to spare. You are Eric Neander, Evan, for this next 75 seconds. And guess what? You just have to make a decision. It just brought, I need to trade Brandon Lau, Randy Arozarena, or Isaac Paredes. I just need to. One of them has to go by the trade deadline. Who and why?
I mean, there's a lot of factors. If I trade Brandon Lau, I'm not getting anything for him. So it doesn't make much sense. Might as well keep him and just let him walk the next year. Randy Arozarena, let's assume that he gets back into form here. I would lean towards Randy. And I kind of said this a little bit towards the tail end of last year. I think you know what you're going to get in Randy. His arbitration money is going to tick up to areas where you're not going to love it, and you're not going to sign him on the open market. And I just feel like you can get more for him in the short term than what you're going to be able to get out of him in the long term. We already see the speed is diminishing, but yeah, I think that it would be Randy. I love Isaac Paredes. He's log jamming a guy like Caminero, whatever. I don't know what you're supposed to do. He will extract the most value for you, but I don't know if we're there yet. You would have to really get a sizable return,
right,
for Paredes. I mean, he's young, under control. Bops, home runs, nearly 100 RBI, great defense. What more do you want out of a guy?
Exactly.
That's fair. All right. Final Closky on the clock question. What is one must-have feature or amenity of the new Rays Stadium, assuming that it comes to fruition?
They've already mentioned this, but it's the Rays tank. You got to bring the Rays tank back. They will bring the Rays tank back, assuming that it does get to a shovel in the ground, right? But come on. If you ask any Joe Blow who's a baseball fan what they think of when they think of the Trop, it's the tank. It's the tank.
What about a new thing? What about a new thing?
A new thing?
Yeah, new thing.
Well, we've already seen the rendering, but windows, does that count?
It could be anything you want.
Natural,
anything new.
Yeah, give me some natural light into this dang place. So that would be that.
You heard it. Natural light. That's what Closky wants for the new ballpark.
You know what?
Not a tall ask there.
I don't dislike it. I went with cup holders, dude, in every seat. I'm tired of it.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've had many a beer knocked over.
It's not fun.
My fault and others. All right, let's get to baseball trivia. Name that war real briefly. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get 150 buckaroos in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's 150 bucks, win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. I'll repeat it again for you out there. Visit FanDuel.com/LOCKEDON and make that first bet of yours an automatic win. My baseball trivia question for you all. The Rays are playing the Chicago White Sox, and in front of me, I have their top 10 career hits leaderboard, most all-time hits in a White Sox uniform. Give me 5 of those 10 names.
Say the question one more time.
Most career hits in a White Sox uniform.
Paul Konerko.
He is number 3 on this list. Very good.
Maglio Ordóñez.
He is not on this list. Strike one.
Damn.
Oh man,
Konerko had 2,292 hits.
I don't know if this guy was on the team long enough.
Can you tell us how many hits did the number 10 have?
That's shaky ground here. I need to see at least 2 strikes before I give you that information.
Fine. Evan, what do you think about either Frank Thomas or Jose Abreu?
Jose, I think we should definitely do both of them, to be honest.
So are you giving both of them right now?
Yes.
Okay. Frank Thomas is number 4 on this list with 2,136. Jose Abreu is number 10 on this list with 1,445. So I need 2 more names, and you have 2 strikes.
I'm thinking of guys like Jim
How
Thome.
about Adrian Persinski, dude?
I like him, Jermaine Dye, Jim Thome, Scott Posednik.
Aaron Rowand.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I like Persinski just because of time.
Yeah, let's go with him. Sure.
Strike 2.
Damn
it. There's a Hall of Famer that I can't put my finger on right now.
Luis Aparicio, right?
You want to try that one?
He's over 2,000 hits. I believe Aparicio has like 2,700 hits, and he played for the Baltimore Orioles and a crap load of time with the White Sox. So I would feel pretty good about it.
Let's go with that.
Luis Aparicio is number 8 on this list with 1,576. I need one more name. You have Konerko, Thomas, Abreu, Aparicio.
Like Roberto Alomar Jr. was on too many teams, right?
Yeah.
Omar Vizquel, same thing. He was more Indians back then.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to those.
Who else was with Piersinski and Konerko? Was it Jermaine Dye?
Well, I said Jermaine. Yeah, that was part of my list. I just wonder if he spent too much time with the A's. But he had, you think back to the World Series year, he was great.
Yeah. Who was? I mean, they've never really had Frank Thomas is their biggest guy, literally. And
Locked On White Sox is just crushing you guys right now.
Yeah, they're not happy about
Very
this.
disappointed.
Damn.
I stumped you guys. I need a guess here.
Whatever.
Do you want to go with it, JD?
Yeah, just go with Jermaine Dye.
Jermaine Dye, strike 3. All right, the list is Luke Appling with 2,749. Nelly Fox, 2,470. Konerko, you got right. Thomas, you got right. Eddie Collins, number 5 on this list with 2,007. Somebody named Harold Baines with 1,773.
That was it. That's the name.
Somebody named Ozzie Guillen with 1,608.
That was it.
Aparicio, Minnie Minoso, 1,523, and then Jose Abreu, number 10.
Yeah, that was...
Okay, that sucks. That really stinks. So let's hope I can make you feel just like that, Kevin. For Name That War, and if you haven't seen Name That War, this segment before, it's when we take a player from the past and we try to guess their career war according to Baseball Reference using only our Baseball Archive mind. And today it is a White Sox, although he played for a couple more teams than that. Mr. John Garland. What is John Garland's career war according to Baseball Reference?
The pitcher, right? He was a pitcher?
That's what he was.
This is like, I don't know. I'm just going to go right out of the gates and give you a 7.2 and call it good from there. All right,
I'm going to price this right you and go with an 8 or 9, maybe even got to double digits of 10, but I'm going above you slightly. I think he pitched a decade in the league, maybe had one all-star season, career ERA of like 4.5, probably got 1,000 strikeouts. Probably didn't even eclipse 100 wins, but I think he did okay in the WAR department, I guess.
With
got.
What is your guess?
I'll go 8.
Okay, well, don't look it up. John Garland, who spent 13 years in the league, was a one-time All-Star, a 2005 World Series winner, over 2,100 innings, a 1.3 WHIP, 1,100 strikeouts, 136 victories. His career WAR is 22.5. The John Garland hate.
Oh, wow.
That
I told you, I had no idea. You stumped me on that one. I couldn't even pepper any of his numbers. It was that was a good name.
Was a stud.
You got me big time on that one.
For a good 4 or 5 year period, he was very good. Very good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that in a million years.
Pretty good
Very
pitcher.
good.
Yeah.
One-time All-Star.
Yeah.
All right. Evan, where can people find your wonderful work?
At Closky, WTSP. Right now we are, 10 Tampa Bay, as well as we're focused in on the NFL draft happening this week. And then also the Lightning playoffs, which, hopefully lasts into next week. Not a good first 2 games, but we got you covered on everything. And again, if you tweet at me, I will respond to 99% of the tweets. If you're in the 1%, that's a complete douche weasel, then you're not going to get any tweet back. But
I like that.
Other than that, I'm here for the discourse.
We need to start utilizing that. Who do the Bucks take with their first pick?
Tough to say with how the board's going to shake out, but it's going to be someone I'm going to say someone in the trenches, defensive or offensive trenches, interior offensive line, or someone they can stick on the edge.
All right, there we go. All right, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.